In the wide, unyielding expanse of Russia's far north, nomadic ways of life have endured for centuries, embodying resilience, adaptation, and orienting traditions to nature. These resilient communities live in one of the world's most extreme climates, with temperatures that can dip -60 degrees Celsius, yet thrive. In the Arctic regions of Russia, hundreds of small, often indigenous populations of people, many of them classified as less numerous people, are found. Among these groups are the Nenads, Evenks, Choki, Yakuts, and more. Their way of life reaches out of the traditional, with practices such as reindeer herding or hunting, fishing, and weaving, all of which are organic with respect to the people and their lineage. For instance, semi-nomadic reindeer herding patterns of the Nenads include traveling with herds in pursuit of grazing grounds through vast tundra expanses. The Choki are traditionally a nomadic group of hunters and fishermen living mainly in Chukotka and are dependent on marine mammals, especially on seals and whales, for food and raw material. Known for their skills in reindeer hunting and horsemanship, the Evenks also have a rich oral culture, sharing stories and songs from druids. One of the northernmost cities of the planet, Norilsk, in 300 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle and approximately 2,400 kilometers from the North Pole. It is the regional center with about 176,735 residents in 2025 that rises to 220,000 when temporary residents are included. Norilsk's industrial economy is centered on nickel and palladium mining, but its residents also have strong ties to traditional Arctic activities like hunting and fishing. These activities provide food, clothing, and materials you need to survive in extreme conditions. The city's location also positions it as an important outpost for scientific research, logistics, and Arctic exploration. Yet, Norilsk holds a thriving community that combines modern urban lifestyle with historic Arctic ways. Residents have had night, providing little sunlight, isolation from other major cities, and harsh weather conditions. However, they have built an incredible sense of community and resilience. Houses in Norilsk are indicative of its bleak surroundings. Most buildings are built on stilts to avoid the foundations. The city's infrastructure is modified to keep the area running in below freezing conditions, underground walkways, and insulated ducts. Culturally, Norilsk is a crossroads between indigenous traditions and modern influences. Local markets boast reindeer meat, fish, and artisan items, with the region's Arctic heritage on display. Polar recognizing festivals and events stronger residents' sense of pride and unity. Norilsk's presence as an industrial center is a boon, but it comes with a price. Mining provides economic opportunities, but presents environmental risks. This has had significant consequences on air pollution and other effects in the immediate environment, leading to efforts to implement cleaner technologies and sustainability practices. These measures are essential to protect the fragile Arctic environment that sustains the traditional livelihoods of surrounding nomadic communities. Surviving the elements. The climate of northeastern Russia is characterized as DWD, subarctic climate that has very long, cold winters and very short summers, with temperatures in the coldest months dipping below -38 degrees Celsius. Southern sections of eastern Russia exhibit DWC climate with less extreme winter but less than 4 months of temperatures over 10 degrees Celsius. These extremes affect every single part of the way of life of this region's people. What do you think about living in such extreme weather? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like this post and subscribe for more fascinating insights into life around the world. Clothing and shelter. For those living in such cold, survival depends on traditional clothing made from reindeer hides. These clothes are designed to keep body heat while being lightweight and agile to enable nomads to move freely and also take care of their herds and hunting. Contemporary versions integrate synthetic fabrics that improve insulation but still preserve classic shapes. These nomadic families will often live in chums, portable tents made of wooden poles adorned with the hide of animals. These structures are built to endure brutal Arctic winds and insulate against the bitter cold. In permanent settlement, shelters are constructed sophisticated insulation and heating systems to withstand the persistent cold. Recent developments in clothing technology have improved upon their classic designs, incorporating waterproof layers and thermal linings to better insulate against the cold. However, these advances are often rooted in the ancient wisdom of indigenous practices, leading to a combination of high-tech and low-tech, of traditional and new, that proves that humanity's ingenuity and these old ways can work together, even in the most extreme environments. Hunting and fishing. Hunting and fishing are still central to the nomadic lifestyle. The Arctic's animals, including reindeer, seals, and fish, are a source of sustenance as well as raw materials for clothing, tools, and trade. Reindeer hunting, in particular, is the linchpin of life for many Arctic peoples, providing meat, milk, and transportation. Semi-wild, the herds move constantly in search of patches of grass, which is an important reason for the nomadic lifestyle. Fishing methods and tools have advanced, allowing communities to fish year-round, even in frozen rivers and lakes. Ice fishing is a key pastime for many people during the long winters, and there is specialized equipment and techniques to find success in the tough living conditions. Hunters have adapted their practices similarly, blending generations of experience with the most up-to-date technologies such as snowmobiles and GPS to effectively track animals. The practices involved in hunting also show a deep regard for the environment. Most nomadic peoples follow sustainable hunting patterns, and from using everything from the animals they were hunting. This sustainability mindset is not only entrenched in cultural practices, but is also vital for the fragile ecosystems of the Arctic. Modern challenges and adaptations. While traditional practices remain vital, the far north nomads face growing challenges in the modern era. Climate change has disrupted migratory patterns and made traditional knowledge less predictable. Industrial development, including mining and oil extraction, encroaches on traditional land and alters ecosystems. Additionally, younger generations often move to cities like Norilsk, seeking education and employment opportunities, which contributes to the erosion of cultural practices. Despite these challenges, many indigenous groups are finding ways to adapt. Some embrace modern technology like GPS and snowmobiles to aid in herding and hunting. Others are involved in cultural preservation initiatives, ensuring that traditional knowledge, languages, and skills are passed down to future generations. The spirit of resilience. Life in Russia's far north reflects the strength and resilience of its people. Life in the Central Asian steppes is extreme but everyday, yet fierce and raw, testing the limits of existence, and the nomads are its resilient warriors. Their strong ties to the land and dedication to their traditions guarantee that despite adversity, their lifestyle keeps living on, serving as a source of inspiration. These Arctic communities remind us that as the world changes, preserving cultural diversity and respecting the environment will be crucial. In Russia's frozen tundras, the nomads remind us of our perpetual connection to the natural world and the immense resilience it takes to survive in her most brutal reaches. The role of reindeer in nomadic culture. The reindeer is at the heart and the lifeblood of Arctic nomads. These animals aren't simply food, they are companions, means of transport, and the core of economic and social life. Reindeer herding is practiced on razor-thin margins between tradition and resourcefulness as herds are moved across massive swathes of land to find grazing in a harsh land. Along with being an important part of the economy, reindeer also holds an important position in spirituality and culture. Rituals and festivals praising the reindeer are part of many indigenous groups since the animals are considered sacred. These ceremonies serve the double purpose of strengthening communal ties and anchoring the nomads to their heritage. The future of nomadic life and its education. Education is a challenge and an opportunity for Arctic nomads. Formal education is rarely accessible due to the remoteness of the communities, and most of these children are sent to boarding schools and cities, uprooting them from their families and traditional way of life. Education expands new vistas, but it also threatens to alienate young generations from their cultural root. In response, regions have experimented with mobile schools and culturally relevant curricula that are based on indigenous languages and traditions. These efforts seek to integrate modern education with cultural preservation so that youthful nomads can succeed in both domains. Tourism and global interest. Increasingly, the world at large has taken note of the Arctic and of its indigenous peoples. Nomadic communities could also thrive from tourism as visitors are looking to get a glimpse into their unique way of living. But it needs to be handled very carefully to prevent being exploited and ensure that their culture is kept intact. Indigenous grounds themselves are leading many sustainable tourism initiatives. They focus on helping visitors learn more about what life in the Arctic is like, the challenges Arctic dwellers face, engendering greater appreciation for their resilience and traditions. The nomads of Russia's far north are at a crossroads, balancing the preservation of their ancient traditions with the demands of the fast-changing world. Their ability to maintain cultural identity while adopting new traditions is a lesson for us all. With climate change and modernization sweeping through the Arctic, the stories of these resilient communities also serve as a reminder of the key to bringing balance to this area on the world stage. Let us know the next place you'd like to explore.